Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei, a short biography. On the 16th of July 1939, in the holy city of Mashhad in the Khorasan province, a child was born to Haajj Sayyid Jawad Husaini Khamenei and his wife, Lady Mir Damadi. Though coming from a humble background, this child later rose up to become the successor to Ayatullah Khamenei and, after him, the supreme leader of the Islamic Revolution of Iran. Ayatollah al-Uzma, Sayyid Ali Khamenei, was the second son of Sayyid Jawad Khamenei, a humble and poor Islamic scholar who taught all members of the family how to lead a simple and humble life. In one of his interviews, Sayyid Ali Khamenei describes his childhood as follows. My father, though a well-known religious figure, was a bit of an ascetic. We had a hard life. Sometimes for supper, we had nothing but bread with some raisins, which our mother had somehow improvised. Our house, some 65 square meters, consisted of a single room and a gloomy basement. When visitors came to see my father as a local cleric to consult about their problems, the family had to move into the basement while the visit was on. Years later, some well-wishers bought the small, empty plot of land adjacent to our house. So we were able to build 2 more rooms. His father was born in Najaf and was one of the ulama and mujtahids of his time. And he migrated to Tabriz with his family. After finishing the Sath level, he migrated to Mashhad, where he had the privilege to study under the tutelage of outstanding scholars. Apart from learning and teaching, he was the imam or prayer leader at the Mosque of Siddiqis of Mashhad Market, and also one of the prayer leaders at the Gauhar Shad Mosque. He was a pious man who was indifferent to material affairs and led an ascetic lifestyle. Ayatollah Khamenei's education. Sayyid Ali Khamenei began his education at the age of 4. He was sent to Maktab and he began to learn the Holy Quran. He attended the first Islamic school of Mashhad, Darul Ta'lim Diyanati, for elementary school. At the same time, he began to study the Holy Quran from a number of Qurra in Mashhad. When he was in the 6th grade, he began his elementary seminary studies. His great interest in seminary studies and his parents' encouragement helped him enter this world after finishing elementary school. He continued his Islamic teachings at Sulaiman Khan Islamic Seminary. He also learned some basic teachings from his father. Later, he went to Nawab School and he finished Sath level there. Simultaneously, he went to high school and continued until the 2nd level. He studied Ma'alim al-Usul from Ayatollah Sayyid Jalil Husaini Sistani and the annotated edition of Lunar from his father and Mirza Ahmad Mudarris Yazdi. He studied Rasail, Makasib and Kifaya with his father and Ayatollah Hajj Sheikh Hashim Qazvini. Thereafter, in 1955, he began attending Dars Kharij, which was taught by Ayatollah Sayyid Muhammad Hadi Milani. The young Sayyid Ali was only 18 years old when he started his studies at the highest level. he decided to make a pilgrimage to the holy shrines in Iraq, and so he left Iran for Najaf in 1957. He was fascinated by the theological and academic instructions of such eminent scholars such as Ayatollah Sayyid al-Hakim and Ayatullah Shahrudi. There, he attended the classes of well-known teachers of Najaf Islamic Seminary, such as Ayatollah Sayyid Muhsin Hakim, Sayyid Abul Qasim Khoi, Sayyid Mahmud Shahrudi, Mirza Baqir Zanjani, and Mirza Hassan Burujardi. He was willing to stay there and continue his studies in order to profit from these excellent teachers. However, his father made it known that he preferred his son to continue his advanced studies in the holy city of Qum. Thus, respecting his father's wish, he returned to Iran in 1958. Diligently and enthusiastically he followed his advanced studies in Qum from 1958 to 1964 and benefited from the teachings of great scholars and grand Ayatollahs such as Ayatollah Burujardi, Ayatollah Murtaza Ha'iri Yazdi, Imam Khomeini, and Allama Tabatabai. During his stay in Qum, he spent much of his time researching, studying and teaching. While in Qum, he received the bad news that his father had lost his sight in one eye and was not able to read properly. This prompted him to return to Mashhad and, while being at the service of his father, seek further knowledge from him, from Ayatollah Milani and other important scholars residing in Mashhad. The young Sayyid Ali, who had now become a mujtahid by having completed his advanced level studies, began to teach various religious subjects to younger seminary and university students. Recalling this important point of departure in his life, the leader says, "If there have been any successes in my life, they all go back to God's blessings favored upon me because of my dutiful caring for parents." Ayatullah Khamenei started to teach Dars Kharij in the year 1990, and since then he has engaged in teaching principles of jihad, qisas, maqasid and travelers' daily prayers. Apart from Islamic studies, he has deep interest in poetry and history. He is well read on history, has mastery over discussions and subjects on contemporary history. Ayatullah Khamenei began research and writing since he became a seminarian. He wrote commentaries on his teachers' lessons, and he wrote and translated a number of books before the victory of the Islamic Revolution. Following is a list of works authored and translated by Ayatollah Khamenei. Works authored by him: 1. Islamic Thought in the Quran, an outline. 2. The Profundity of Prayer. 3. A Discourse on Patience. 4. On the 4 Principal Books of Traditions concerning the biography of narrators. 5. Guardianship, that is Wilayah. 6. A General Report of the Islamic Seminary of Mashhad. 7. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. 8. Unity and Political Parties. 9. Personal Views on the Art. 10. Understanding Religion Properly. 11. Struggles of Shia Imams alayhim salam. 12. The Essence of God's Unity. 13. The Necessity of Returning to the Quran. 14. Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. 15. Imam Raza alayhi salam and his appointment as Crown Prince. 16. The Cultural Invasion, collection of speeches. 17. Collections of speeches and messages in 9 volumes. Translations from Arabic into Farsi. 1. Peace Treaty of Imam Hassan alayhi salam by Ravi al-Yasin. 2. The Future of Islamic Lands by Sayyid Qutb. 3. Muslims in the Liberation Movement of India by Abdul Mun'im Nasri. 4. An Indictment Against the Western Civilization by Sayyid Qutb. Many of his opinions and thoughts in the form of speeches, messages and interviews have been published as books and software with different titles. Some of his works have been translated into other languages. Theses, dissertations, articles and different books on his thoughts and philosophy have been published as well. In the area of political and revolutionary ideas and Islamic jurisprudence, I am certainly a disciple of Imam Khomeini, says Ayatullah Khamenei. It was in Qum in 1962 that Sayyid Ali joined the ranks of the revolutionary followers of Imam Khomeini, who opposed the pro-American and anti-Islamic policies of the Shah's regime. Dedicated and fearless, he followed this path for the next 16 years, which ultimately led to the downfall of the Shah's brutal regime. Persecution, torture, imprisonment and exile could not make him waver for a moment. Since he joined the ranks of Imam Khomeini, rahmatullah alayhi, he was entrusted with numerous responsibilities by his leader, Imam Khomeini, which he carried out successfully. Despite threats and fears of arrest from the brutal Shah's regime, Ayatollah Khamenei continued with his lectures on exegesis of the Quran and Nahj al-Balagha and propagation of Islamic values among the masses. During this period of 16 years, he was imprisoned, tortured and even exiled. Shortly before the return of Imam Khomeini to Iran, Islamic Revolutionary Council was formed and Ayatollah Khamenei was appointed as its head. He went on to hold many positions in the Islamic Republic of Iran until he was finally appointed as the Supreme Leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran in 1989. Grand Ayatollah al-Uzma Sayyid Ali Khamenei is revered by numerous followers not just in Iran but throughout the world. His constant stress on unity among Sunnis and Shias throughout the world has earned him respect in the eyes of all Muslims. Ayatollah Khamenei has time and again stressed on unity among Muslims and warned them against devious plots of the enemies to divide the Muslim Ummah and create a rift between the Sunnis and the Shias. Similarly, he has directly sought to connect to the youth throughout the world to dispel the ignorance and fight the false propaganda against Islam and the Muslims. His letters to the youth of the world urged them to understand Islam from its pristine sources and the Holy Prophet and his pure progeny, and not to allow the colonialists to introduce their terrorists as representatives of Islam. As a spiritual and political leader, he continues to inspire Muslims and non-Muslims alike.